大家好，我是优才君。在之前的视频中，我们对加拿大教师罢工做了一些事实分析。现在就让我们看看加拿大不同年级学生们对老师罢工的一些看法。我们这次就以下2个问题对6位学生进行采访：一、老师罢工对还是错？2、老师是怎样向学生解释罢工这件事的？现在让我们来听听学生们的想法。
Hello, my name is William and I am a student in a public school. I am here to answer some questions regarding the strikes that are now happening all across Canada. First of all, the first question is, do I think it's right for them to do it or do I think it's wrong? I personally think it's probably right for them to do it because we got budget cuts and our class size got increased to 40, maybe 50 students. Then that means that individual students won't get enough attention and therefore they can't learn as much or have as much potential to have it, to learn. And also, and I do not really like how the government is taking this. They are refusing to negotiate, and I think it's bad. Well, let's move on to the second question. Second question is, what did my teachers tell me about the striking? They said that they wanted more money for the schools and for themselves. And they said that they don't like it either because they're not getting paid during the time, but it's what they have to do to get the government's attention. And they said that it's really disturbing them and the rest of the Canada, and their children don't get to go to school either, so they're pretty mad about it. But they said that if they want to reverse what is happening, then this is the way they're going to do it. And that's what my math teacher told me in the past week. So yeah, thank you for listening and bye.
大家好，我是叫 Jessie， 然后我是一个刚来了加拿大有6个月的学生。然后最近一段时间，加拿大老师都在 strike， 都在罢工嘛。然后这件事情呢，怎么讲？就是说，对于我来说，我个人觉得不是一件好事。因为我只是从我个人的角度来看呢，因为我身份是我刚来了6个月嘛，所以说其实对于中国留学生来说，最大的问题其实还是语言嘛。就是英语啊和法语什么的，不过关或者说是没有办法沟通，然后所以如果待在家里不去上学的话，我就没有办法 practice 我的 English， 然后很有可能就是因为8年级，我现在在读8年级，然后8年级是加拿大小学的最高的一个年级，所以说接下来我就要进入 high school， 然后我就不知道是说能够很好的适应，或者说能够跟周围的同学或者说能正常的用英语沟通，因为我个人是有考上 IB program， 所以说我比普通的同学还要更努力，因为对 IB program 是比较难，就是它一个是比较难留下来的。对，然后所以说我觉得 strike 的话，我至少能，如果说天天去上学的话，我还是能更好的练习我的英语，然后我还是能学到更多的东西。如果待在家里的话，第一，怎么讲？我觉得我身为一个10几岁的孩子，我觉得我自控力还是没有在学校有人管着好。对，所以这对于我来说不是一件好事。虽然我周围有很多人都在说这个政府扣了老师的这些资金啊，或者是什么，然后还把班级的同学加了。但是在我看来的话， 对于我个人来说，我身为一个刚来的学生来说，我觉得对于我来说不是一件特别好的事情。对，因为每天能上课跟老师交流，还是能促进我学习英语的这么一个过程。对，然后第二个问题就是我的老师是怎么给我解释 strike 这个问题的。其实吧，我的老师没有多跟我解释，因为我们已经8年级了，然后这件事情原来不是没有发生过，所以我记得应该我听其他同学说是在2015年的时候有过这样 strike 的事情，所以说我觉得老师好像都不会跟我们解释什么了，毕竟 strike 也是一个相对于比较敏感的问题。对，然后我想说一下，身为一个中国学生，我刚开始听到 strike 这件事情的时候，就是罢工这件事情的时候，还是比较没有办法适应的，因为在中国不会出现这样子的情况。但是，对我现在还是比较适应的。对，然后罢工的情况差不多就是每一周只上3天的学呀，然后，对啊，就就我的老师，因为我们是升于8年级，所以没有跟我们多讲什么问题。对。
Is it right or wrong for the teachers to go on strike? I think it's right because the teachers have a right to negotiate what they want from the government. How have the teachers explained it to us? Well, they just said we don't get school tomorrow, and that's basically it. And also that Doug Ford is not trying to have more meetings with them, so it will be a while until they come to a conclusion.
Should teachers go on strike? Well, this tends both ways because it both harms and helps the students. It harms the students because they lose out on time to learn, because when teachers go on strike, there's no school that day. But because the teachers go on strike, they get new resources for the students. They enhance their students' learning environments. So the pros outweigh the cons in this situation. So yes, the teachers should go on strike. As for what the teachers said, my teachers don't say much other than my math teacher, who sounds really unenthusiastic because she says she doesn't get paid on those days.
So firstly, what I think is that a class size change is not a good idea, because already the classes we have, it's already difficult to get any teacher attention from any of these classes, especially when you don't understand. And a lot of teachers I've noticed are already taking care of multiple classes, so I feel like a bigger class size just makes it harder for them to actually care about how you're doing. And a lot of students rely on personally being taught by a teacher in order to understand. And that's what teachers are there for. Otherwise, we should all just learn at home. So if a teacher isn't able to give this child a specific attention that they're supposed to have, then they aren't able to fulfill their duty. But also, education cuts are just a bad idea, because there are a lot of programs in our school that are more specialized with a wider variety that we won't be able to get access to anymore once the education cuts take place, because they'll have to slash the budget for programs that are less often taken, like things like Spanish or arts and tuning, which are also courses that people enjoy. It's also even worse in places that are less privileged, like Toronto. We generally have a lot of money because it's just a place where a lot of people gather, but even poorer areas, a lot of other classes are going to start getting cut, and they'll have even less access to resources that they need. I feel like in general also, because the Ford government is trying to implement a mandatory e-learning credit case, which I also think is really bad, because people learn in different ways, and it's not the government's right or ability to tell a student how they should learn, especially when you're forcing students to learn in a way that they aren't comfortable with. You're setting them up for failure, and it can potentially discourage a lot of students into going into areas or even finishing high school if they're unable to learn in the way that satisfies them. Moreover, the Ford government generally just doesn't seem to know what it's doing. Like, a lot of details about how education is going to plan out are very murky. They don't seem to have a clear idea of what they want to do or how this is actually going to help, and they lack engagement with a lot of parents that actually want to have a say in what their children learn like. So in general, it just feels like these cuts to education or changes to education is just them looking at what costs the most money and trying to slash that, and education just tends to cost a lot more money and seems like an easier way to get rid of, so they just want to lessen how much money goes into that.
Okay, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
So do you know teacher also asking for a higher the pay increase?
No, I'm pretty sure, okay, the unions aren't like firstly, like teachers themselves can't decide when to strike. So if their union tells them to strike, then they have to strike. So I know a lot of teachers don't actually want to strike, not because they don't agree with it, but because it affects our education as well. And that it harms the way they teach their classes, and it's inconvenient for them as well. But also I think most of the union strikes aren't actually related to higher pays or so forth. It's more so about the education that's being run. I think most teachers like are satisfied with where they're at. I think it's just another problem with that is that if they cut the budgets and like increase class sizes, there are just also less opportunities for teachers to get jobs. So a lot of teachers are going to have to end up being inevitably cut out or fired, which is also problematic considering how teaching is already a very difficult career, and cutting is going to make it more difficult for them.
Okay, so what did your teacher tell you about why they go on strike?
They're not allowed to talk to us about this stuff because they're not supposed to share political information. So in general, they don't tell us. They just say that they are going on strike, and that's it.
Thank you.